Welcome to the podcast. We're gonna have a good laugh. So sit back and relax and enjoy the podcast. This is TheraTea.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of This is TheraTea. Baby, we are on episode 12. We are being consistent. Y'all know we love consistency over here. Come on, give it up for consistency. Yes, give it up for consistency. And today's episode is the last episode of this month for this series that I like to call Reclaiming the Power Through Your Mind. Okay, reclaiming your power through your mind. Okay. So let me go over my notes real quick. So this month we've already done episode, the first episode was the perspective of our abilities. And then the second was from dream to reality. No, the first one was the power of your words. Yeah. Power of our words, the perspective of our abilities from dream to reality, which was last week's episode. And this week's episode is the last episode and it is entitled You Already Have It, So Use It. You already have it. You just need to use it. So just use it. So today we're going to talk about how to take what you already have and to make it work for you and to make it and use it. Okay? So without further ado, let's take our first sip, dog. Let's take our first sip. Come on. Let's take our first sip. Amen, amen, amen. Our cup is back, as you can see. So let's get into today's topic. So you already have it, so use it. Now, see, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. We have been born with certain gifts, talents, and things that we can do from birth, or we just grew up knowing how to do. We knew how to sing, write, read, we knew how to make something out of nothing, and a lot of us struggle with finding a way to use that in multiple ways. We find difficulty in finding a way to use it to better ourselves, to provide for ourselves, to glorify God, to allow God's work to be done. It's a multiple facets of ways that we struggle with using it. So the thing is, you are just given a gift for this just to be, for you just have it. No, you were given a purpose. Okay. I believe that everything has a purpose. Okay. I think everything happens for a reason. Okay. So you were given that gift for a purpose. You were given it because you needed it. You needed to have it. Okay, God wanted you to have it. He needed you to have that gift. So he gave it to you. Now it's up to you to use it. You already have it, so use it. But how do you know if you have something that can be used? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Because a lot of people, they want to know, I want to know, they want to know, you want to know. So let's figure it out, okay? One of the main reasons you can tell that you have something is by first examining yourself. When you examine yourself and start to study yourself, you pick up on bits and traits and talents and things that you can do that you may think, oh, this is normal. It's just normal. It comes natural to me. You may think it's just, something just do on the fly. You don't think too much about it. But that same thing that you don't think about that could be your blessing, your career, your gift, is the same thing that could. Because sometimes we tend to neglect the small things or the things that we think are insignificant or don't have that much meaning. We tend to neglect those things and push those things off as just, oh, it's just a little something, I just do that, da. But it normally takes someone else to come along to say, hey, no, wait, hold on. What you got ain't just no regular, thing. Like, you got something. You have something. Like, you specifically, you have a gift You need to use it and hone it. And sometimes when people come in and tell us that, some of us we get scared, like, I ain't trying to do all that. That's too much hard work. No, man, I ain't trying to do all that. But see, that's where we have to think about our life. We have to consider the possibility or the life that we will have if we take a chance on what that person is telling us to do. If you can sing, some say you need to have a singing career. And someone like, no. You should take the moment to think, would I like and enjoy life more if I pursued a singing career? Or would I like it more if I just did a regular working 9 to 5? What a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taking and no giving, So you weigh out the pros and cons. And sometimes the cons outweigh the pros. Sometimes. But then again, the pros are more rewarding, See, that's where you have to go into conversation with God and with people that are where you're trying to get to. Because when you have a talk with God, he will allow you to understand what he wants for your life and what your life needs to be. And once you understand that, making those decisions will come, easily. And if they don't come easily, when you make those decisions, you'll make the decisions with the correct amount of knowledge and wisdom that you've gained. And whether you benefit, don't benefit, you like the decision you made now, or later you don't, you made the decision at that point in time to what you thought was best. And you have to acknowledge that and, give grace to yourself, because in our future, we don't know what's going to happen in our future. We don't know what is going to happen. We don't know that the choices we make today, we don't know exactly how they'll impact our future. So when we get to the future, all we can do is look back on our past self and say, hey, you did what you thought was right. You did what you knew how to do at that point in time. You did what you could do with as much wisdom and knowledge that you had, and give ourselves grace from that. You have to give yourself some grace, okay? Because a lot of people ain't gonna give you grace. They're not gonna give you no grace at all. But you have to take it upon yourself and give yourself grace, okay? Because when you give yourself grace, you will appreciate the development stages so much. You'll be like, you know what? I might have just been a young, reckless teenager. But because I was a young, reckless teenager, I can now become a professional and contributing positive member of society as an adult. All because I had that stage where I was reckless, doing anything, just doing a lot of stuff. I was able to develop, That's what people tend to neglect. There's a development stage. When you are taking something from one place to another, there's a development happening there. When you're driving, you're developing into a new area, You're going from point A to point B. When you're growing your hair out, you're going from a low temp fade to a luscious afro, or whatever you want your hair to become, an afro, locks, braids, what have you. There's always a process. And even there is a process when you have a gift, because you can have a gift, but your gift may not be as honed in and as perfected as it needs to be. And that is where development comes in. You may have been born with a natural gift to talk, speak, run your mouth, but you have to be developed into becoming that great speaker, that radio host, that podcast host, that PR person, that person that delivers a speech. You have to be trained and you have to develop into that person. And that development is also what scares people sometimes, because they don't want to do the work. They don't. Let's just be real. Some people will stay stagnant and will stay where they are in life because they simply don't want to do the work. And there are so many people that do this. And I think everyone has that time where we don't do nothing. We don't do that because we don't want to do the work. We do that. I'm pretty sure everyone has had that experience. Where it hasn't be it doesn't have to be as complex or as big as making a business move. It could be something simple as taking out the trash. I don't feel like getting all the trash out the house, putting it in the bag, tying it up, putting it in a dumpster outside, taking it to the road. I don't feel like doing all that. So I'm not going to do it. And you lay it off. And people always say, do what you can do today. Why do what you can do today and do it tomorrow? Like it's something like that. Why put off what you can do today for tomorrow you do it today? Something like that. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Y'all know it. Let's take a sip so let's let you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. You dig. So yes, that development is what really gets us. But see, the development is where the growth happens. Because through trial and error, we learn so much. We learn how to do so much. Babies learn to walk by crawling and falling and trying to stand up and trying to balance. They have to fall to get walking. Like a lot of people say, you have to crawl before you walk and walk before you run and run before you fly. If you can fly, I don't know nobody that can fly. They can fly planes, but yes, you have to do that. You have to go through the development stage. And see, once you go through that development stage, you will realize that this talent, this gift that I was born with, that God's given me from a young age, I have now developed it into something that is sustainable. It can sustain me. It can provide for me. It can create opportunities for me. You may have been blessed with the gift of drawing, and as you keep drawing and keep learning and different art techniques and different paint techniques and different things to help develop your artistry, you can now become a world-renowned artist who creates art for everyone and anyone. You can make a sustainable living off that. But you have to put in the work and develop it. Because you can be given a seed, but it's not going to grow into a plant unless you use the seed and develop it. You have to put it in the dirt, nurture it, water it, take care of it, pour into it, put time, effort, and energy into it. And once you do that, you will see the fruit, okay? You will see the goodness, okay? You will see the goodness of the Lord, amen. But see, the thing is, with development, we tend to think that, oh, once I get to this certain point, I don't have to do it no more. Once I can do this, I don't have to practice no more. No. We should all be in a constant state of practice. Shout out to Herbie. We should always be diligently working and trying to perfect our craft, try to better our craft. I think that's a better word than perfect, because when you think the word perfect, it means everything is perfect. Like nothing is wrong. Everything is perfect. And the thing is, a lot of us strive towards perfection and end up self-sabotaging ourselves in multiple areas of our lives. We try to be perfectionists at everything, at our job, at school. We try to pick the perfect person to date, to marry, all that. And by trying to live with certain expectations and try to reach certain expectations that are sometimes, honestly, out of our reach, and what are expectations that we don't need to get, we will self-sabotage ourselves so much, and then we'll end up wondering why you're burnt out, you're uninterested, you're tired, you're not getting where you want, you're stagnant, because you're so caught up on those small details. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be just right. You're so caught up on those little things, little nitpicky things, that You put so much energy into that and into the whole aspect, idea, and journey of whatever you're doing, and you miss out on things, you know? You could be so determined on trying to be the best at your job that you end up missing crucial life moments of your kids. And we have to realize where we have to create a balance, because we will strive for perfection so much that it overcomes us. It becomes our life. We strive to be perfect. Nothing can be less than. And when we do that, we project that onto other people. Perfectionists project insecurities onto other people. Here's how. You desire for everything to be perfect. So when everything you say, this has to be perfect, you have to be perfect, this is perfect. You're constantly telling people, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to dress like this, da, 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 da. You telling them all this stuff to try to make them perfect by your standards allows insecurities to fester inside of them. Like, well, am I enough? I mean, am I pretty enough? Am I cool enough? Is something wrong with me? You, as a perfectionist, can ultimately cause someone to have mental health issues and insecurities and things like that. So we have to be mindful as people that are perfectionists that we don't project our perfectionistic ideas onto other people in a way that causes them to have insecurities about themselves. Okay? And I'm also going to say this. I feel that instead of trying to be perfectionists, we should try to be people of excellence. Now, let me explain the difference of how I define this. Perfectionist. Everything has to be perfect, 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 perfect. Nothing can be out of place. If some small thing's out of place, oh my goodness, cut the whole show. We have to deal with it right now. That's perfectionist, and it takes up so much time. But see, when you're a person of excellence, you strive for things to be a certain way. You want things to look nice, look great, but you're not so hung up and caught up on every single little detail that it overshadows everything else. See, when you're a person of excellence, you strive to want things to be a certain way. You want things to look a certain way, sound a certain way, be a certain way, but you're not so hung up and anal about things. You're not so, like this has to be like this has to be like this. If it's not like this, I don't want it. If not this, it's not right. No. Sometimes being a person of excellence, you have to accept that things are not going to always go as they seem, as you want them to go. That's what I mean to say. And because they don't go the way we want them to seem, we cannot just throw our whole project away like, oh, this don't work, throw the whole show away. No, we can't. No, that is not what we need to do. We need to be of excellence and also realize that, hey, everything's not going to go right. It's not. But we have to keep going and things will come together. That's how you become a person of excellence. You keep striving for it. You don't settle. You keep, you value the progress, of course, but you never settle into something. You're always trying to make it better, but you're not so hung up and caught up on it. It doesn't consume you. Like, it has to be this, it has to be this, and then the people that you work with are like, it's so tiring and draining working with him, because if something's not right, he want to take this. If something's not right, people don't want to work with someone whose perfectionism allows them to be a bad person. Okay, because you may not think that you're being a bad person, but your perfectionism will allow people to perceive you as someone who's so nitpicky and so uncaring about anything else except for what they're creating. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Okay. Now, see, at this point, I'm diverging, but I'm gonna wrap it. I'm gonna wrap it right back around. Right back around. Let me give you a sip first. Come on, let's take a sip so I can wrap it right around. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, I've come. Yes. So let me wrap it back around. Wrap it right around to you. To the perfectionist aspect. you have it, so use it. You have a gift, a talent, a dream, an idea, something that you want to do. And you want to do it so good that you might even become a perfectionist. And there is nothing wrong being a perfectionist, but you shouldn't be overly a perfectionist, because when you're overly trying to perfect everything, you realize that you're doing more harm than good. But I digress. So when you have something and you know you have something, sometimes other people will try to stunt your growth. They'll try to diminish what you have going on. Like, you'll know that you can sing, you can blow down, you can be like, it's like unpaid, it's all on the table, and then baby you hold the cards. And like a magic, and I gotta have it. I don't want the pieces, I want every single part. I'm ready, neighbor, whatever you want is fine. Whenever you're ready, just call on your lady, I'll be your baby tonight. You can sing, blow down, do all that, you're the whole 9 yards. But people be like, no, you need to go back to your hometown and be the pop star there, because you're not ready to be out here in the big leagues. You're not gonna be able to sell. You're not gonna be able to do all that. People will try to do that so bad. They'll try to diminish you so bad. Like, man, can I just get my toe wet? Like, man, But see, the thing is, you can show them better than you can tell them. I love that one. I can show you better than I can tell you. I love that saying. Because you can tell someone every single day, I'm a good singer. I'm the best singer you ever have. Blah, 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 blah. But you gotta show them. See, sometimes you gotta pop out and show. You gotta pop out and show people that you really are about that. Not about that life, y'all know, but you're really who you say you are. So if you're a singer, you have to like, okay. If you're a singer, sing something. Okay, boom. Like, I don't know what song I was just singing right there. It was given very much inspired by Brandy, because I love Brandy. Hey, I also love on Angel Skies. I also love on Full Moon. What is it? Boy, I saw you dun. You see, I love Brandy's harmonies, but let's get back on topic. You have to pop out and show people that you really can do it, okay? Because people will try to diminish you just because you don't have the popularity, the backing, you don't have the title. They'll diminish you and discriminate you because of that. Because they don't think that you don't have the credentials, you don't have the title, you don't have none of that. You don't have a degree, you don't have none of that to show that you are a singer. But see, here the thing is, you don't need a piece of paper, a title in front of your name, or any kind of certification, verification to show people what you can do. Okay? Just because that person has a PhD in music don't mean that you, without a music degree, for you just being self-taught, that does not mean that you can still compete with him. That does not mean anything. Just because they have a degree, doesn't mean anything, okay? People without degrees get hired. People with degrees get hired. People without degrees are unemployed. People with degrees are unemployed. So it really doesn't matter. That's why you shouldn't let people try to guilt trip you into going to college. Like, oh, if you don't go to college, you're not going to have a successful life. Child, please. It's people out here that dropped out of high school, went and got some kind of certification in a trade, and are now making bank. And then you have people that got degrees and diplomas and certificates and all this stuff. That's yes, this is the unemployment agency. And I hope that's none of y'all, But it happens to people. So let's stop putting all the value and all the things into people that have degrees and all these things, because just got a piece of paper doesn't mean that you're better than anyone else. All it means is you spent money to learn. That's really what it means. You spent money to learn, and now you have completed the course requirements to receive this diploma, this certificate, degree. That's really it. And don't let nobody diminish you for having it either. Because some people like, girl, you got your degree, that don't mean nothing. Baby, please. Baby, you're not gonna clown my piece of paper. Okay. Don't clown it because I worked hard to get this. Okay. So let's all, be respectful of each other with and without a degree. Thank you very much. Now, see, there was a person in the Bible who you wouldn't think knew a lot about God. But, oh, yeah, she did. So let me take you to my Bible study book real quick. We are going all the way to, I believe it's Exodus. I have to say Genesis, but I'm close enough. We're going to Exodus 4, darling. And so this is the story of a woman I like to call Zipporah. Okay, so basically what is happening is she is married to Moses. Y'all know Moses, who led them to freedom. I have to every time say freedom. But he led them to freedom. I can't move. Y'all know Moses. Y'all know Moses. So she was Moses' wife, whatever, right? And so Moses was going to a place, and for some reason, God was a little upset with Moses. Now this was after Moses, when him and God was talking about that near that burning bush. Just after that, so Moses was asleep, and they was going somewhere. They was asleep or whatever, and God started attacking Moses. I'm like, what? What he do? What he do? So at this point, Zipporah, who has a knowledge of God that the people back then didn't know, and people we still don't know how she knew this or whatever, but she made a way she did this thing. I'm trying to explain it without trying to get censored. Basically, she rubbed blood on someone's foot that was cut from some skin. That's the PG version. Onto someone's foot, and by doing that, God left Moses alone. So we don't really know whose foot that she rubbed it on, but what we do know is she knew what to do, even though she was not one of the people that would be considered like a pastor or a priest, someone that was ordained to know about a lot of God, not a lot of God, but a lot about God. She was not, in today's terms, she was not a preacher or a prophet. We don't know if she was, but not one of those named people that have that title of being a person that God speaks to, or that knows a lot about God. She didn't have that title, that perception. But that didn't matter. The fact was, she knew what she had. She knew what she knew. She knew what she knew. Okay? See, the thing, you need to know what you know. Okay? Because she knew what she knew. Amen? Amen. She knew what she knew, and she did what she knew what to do. And because she did that, Moses lived to fight another day. And so that's the thing. That's the main thing I want you to take away from this story, is that you don't have to be known and for something. As long as you know how to do it, show it. Put it into action. There's a thing on my vision board that it says, don't try to prove yourself to. Hold on, I got it on my iPad. I want to read it directly, because it's a really good quote I found. I was like, oh, I love this. Yes, it says, focus on improving yourself. Hold on now. Yeah, it says focus on improving yourself and not proving yourself. Now, see, that's deep. because we will try to prove ourselves so much to people that we'll end up neglecting ourselves and not focusing on improving ourselves because it's so focused on proving ourselves, not improving. See, when you prove, you show what you already can do. But when you improve, you learn to do more. And when you learn to do more, you can show off more, you know? So, yes, you already have that gift. All you have to do is use it. And don't let people tell you that you can't use it because you don't have this specific training, you don't have this degree, you don't have this. No. Don't let other people tell you you can't do something because of what you don't have. Especially when they don't have the same thing they telling you what you need. Just saying. All advice is not good advice. So take it with a grain of salt and understand where that advice is coming from and apply it where it needs to be applied and let it fly where it needs to fly. Okay? So I'm gonna use, for example, I love singers because I'm a singer, but I'm gonna use Miss Whitney right here. Miss Nippy. Whitney was the daughter of Miss Sissy Houston, who has gone on to glory. May she rest in peace. Amen. And she could sing. Baby, she would blow down. And then again, if I'm correct, her cousin, Whitney's cousin, was Dionne Warwick. Now y'all know Miss Dionne. Now y'all know Miss Dionne. Now I love me some Miss Dionne. What's it all about, Alfie? Oh, that's not right. But thing is, she grew up in a musical family. She grew up in a church. Now, see, let me tell you something. The best singers will 80%, I say 80 out of 100 will come out of the church. The other 20, those are the people that are like classically trained and have done all that. But some of the people that we consider the best singers in the world, Whitney Houston, who else? Aretha Franklin. I'm trying to see who else that I know was in the church. A lot of these R&B singers was raised in the church. Okay, a lot of them were raised in the church, and the church like our foundation. Any music, I always say when I go on tour, I want to get some church musicians, because if I'm singing my song and all of a sudden I just feel like I want to say, I gotta praise, and I gotta get it out. I gotta praise. I want to know that they can be able to play that, you know? Now, I'm not trying to knock any other musicians that didn't grow up in the church, especially the black church, but I want me personally, I want y'all to be from the church, because if I bust out with them old hymns, y'all gonna know how to sing and fall in the key, you know? That's the band, the background singers, and even the dancers. Cause y'all be neglecting praise dance. Praise dance, baby. Praise dance is all about emoting. See, that's how you know how to emote through your body movements and praise dance. Y'all like to sleep on praise dancing, but that's what it is. When you praise dance, you learn how to you put the white stuff on your face. You learn how to get all the paint and that's how you know how to apply makeup and. I'm not calling it makeup, but it's similar to makeup. But yeah, stop neglecting praise dancers, because baby, we be dancing for real. I ain't done a praise dance in so long. But if I had to do one, I would do it. Amen. Amen. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so, back to this Whitney thing. She was around people that could sing and that could teach her how to sing well. And because of that, she is now known as the voice. Like, she is literally renowned as one of the greatest vocalists ever. And I argue with that. I'm like, baby, hold on. You're not saying the greatest vocalist ever and not mention Miss Whitney Elizabeth Houston. Okay, let's not play now. Let's not play. She is clearing a lot of people in her prime. And Whitney's prime, baby, she would have cleared anybody. Anybody. Okay? But then you take people that weren't they didn't grow up in a musical family. They didn't have people that were teaching them how to sing, the art of performing, the art of, being on tune, on key, on pitch, breathing. They didn't have people that do that. But they knew they had the gift to sing. They knew they wanted to sing. They knew it was inside of them to sing. They had to get it out. So they had to seek help to get it out. They already knew they had it. They just needed to use it. But in order to use it, they had to develop it. They had to develop it, not development, but they had to develop it. See, that's the thing. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you end. Because we can start from different places and different points of time, different areas, but we can all end up in the same place. You might be a great writer. You might have been a great writer from forever. And I just started writing. But if I put in the work, I'll become just as great a writer as you. See, that's the thing. We need to stop discouraging ourselves by trying to compare ourselves to other people. Because other people have different journeys, different experiences, different lessons that may have accelerated their learning and may have helped them get ahead. But we don't have that. And we can't be jealous of them because we don't have what they have. Like, I mean, that's not what God wanted for us. So we just have to be content with that. And we have to live in our own world and know that, okay, this is the journey I'm supposed to go on. And because I'm going on this journey, I'm going to become exactly who I need to be. Okay? So know that. Because you already have the gift. Okay? The gift that looks good on you. It looks good on you. The gift that looks good. And you wear it well. God has graced you. And you wear it well. So get your gift, baby. Get your gift. Get your gift. Take it, hone in on it, and learn how to use it. Because you already have it. All you gotta do is use it. And if you don't know how to use it, learn to use it. Because when you learn to use it, my God, the doors of the church will be open and not closed. Come on. Come on out. Come on out. Somebody caught that. Somebody out there caught that. Somebody caught that. Y'all said, whoop, caught it. Mm-hmm. Yep. Wait, what's my girl? Catch it. I love her videos. Catch it. Mm-hmm. I be catching it every time. I'm like, received. I'm like, safe. Yeah. But yes, know that you have a gift, an ability, something that God has given you, and learn to use it. Because it's already been given to you, okay? You already have everything you need to succeed. Okay? And you might be thinking, well, I don't have no class, no nothing. But you have the ability to get it. You have a mouth. A closed mouth don't get fed, so you have to ask for it. God has given you a mouth and words and thoughts. He allows you to speak, to ask for what you want. So no, you may not have professional training, all that, but you can ask for it because you already been given the ability to ask for it. So you already have everything you need. Okay? You can think, you can speak, you can act. Okay? So you already have it. You already have it. All you got to do is use it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But that's where this episode ends. You already have it, so use it. Use it well. Use it for God. Use it for what He wants you to use it for. Don't worry about what people are gonna say, child, because people gonna talk about you today. You die, child. Inevitably. They're gonna talk about you anyway, baby. So just do it, baby. Kill it, baby. Kill it. Kill it, baby. Do it. Just do it, okay? People gonna talk about you whether you're doing good, you're doing bad, or you're doing nothing at all, okay? So just do it. Just do it, okay? What Nike say? Just do it, okay? I love you. And I will see you all in the next video. Love ya. Mwah.